Hi everybody, and welcome to Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. I'm J.W. Stewart, a sport management professor here. Prior to teaching at UNH, I was a sportscaster at ESPN and NBC.
And I'm Bruce Barber. I'm the general manager of 88.7 WNHU, our award-winning college radio station. And before that, I was the co-host of Smith & Barber, the morning show on WPLR. And also, I'm still working for WNPR. That's where you'll hear support for WNPR comes from J.W. Stewart.
Yes, absolutely. How much do you need?
And that'll be $80,
there you
please.
Go. Bruce, always great to be with you here on Charger 360, the official video podcast of the University of New Haven. One of the great things about this show is all the wonderful people we get a chance to meet. And right at the top of that list is our guest today, Rozina Jaser. And Rozina is the course coordinator of biology for non-majors. She's also the chair of bio and the environmental science DEI committee. Rozina, welcome to Charger 360. It's great to have you here in the studio.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And we've just had a little conversation before we started, but tell us a little about your backstory and how you ended up here at the University of New Haven. We're so lucky to have you.
Thank you. I enjoy it here. So my journey started when I was doing dental research at NYU College of Dentistry as a high schooler. And so I was able to present my research from that experience at the International and American Association of Dental Research. I was the youngest person at 16.
Wow.
So I was dorking very young.
A Doogie Howser.
Yeah. I think there was an article that said, well, most 16-year-olds are looking for prom dresses. So that was a fun experience, and I ended up pursuing a bachelor's in biology at Stony Brook University, and in pre-med bio, so I thought I was going to go into dental school. I shadowed a dentist before dropping $500,000 on that degree, and I discovered that I was missing the interactive piece of what I loved so much about my dental research. So then I ended up going into academia. I have a master's in science education from Southern Connecticut State University. I moved here in 2010 when I got married. And my teacher certification from New York didn't carry over, so I ended up doing that all again for Connecticut.
Yippee.
And after having my kids, I moved into higher ed, and I love it. I have not looked back.
I have to laugh. I was reading your bio yesterday when I was doing some research for the show. Your bio says, I discovered my passion for research and the exchange of knowledge while, quote, investigating the regeneration of self-extracted periodontal ligament and gingival, I think I pronounced that right, connective tissue cells on natural and synthetic barrier membranes. Rozina, what the heck does that mean?
But
congratulations to you, JW.
You pronounced it all very well.
Oh, bravo.
So when I was a high schooler, I actually was able to get some companies to invest some materials in the research that I wanted to explore. So what I was trying to do was I euthanized some rat pups that were grown in labs, and I extracted their teeth as rat pups, and I removed the palate connective tissue, and I tried to grow it on different growth materials that people use in order to inspire cell regeneration, to see what type of material allowed the ligament cells and the fibroblast cells to actually grow best.
Wow.
And then the long haul, had I stuck with it, would have been to try to place that between dental implants and a jaw in order to retain the same characteristics that a natural tooth have. Because if we lose our adult teeth, we actually lose our ligament that surrounds those teeth that allows for dentists or orthodontists to shift teeth over, allows for cushion, for nerves to run through so you can feel if you're biting down on something really hard, to try to implant that between a dental implant and a jaw, but didn't quite get that far before I found my journey here.
Well, I'm glad that it ended up that you came to the University of New Haven. We've worked together a couple of times. It's always a joy. You send your students to the radio station. You've got them doing podcasts as part of their course of study. talk about, and we were discussing, you should talk about this new thing you're doing, but I love the fact that you as an instructor are really thinking outside the box about how to engage students. And you do it by having them make podcasts as a final project. And now you've got them working in our amazing makerspace here. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I get really excited. I am so fortunate to be able to coordinate biology for non-majors because I feel like it allows me greater flexibility with our curriculum. And so we are allowed to visit the radio station. I am allowed to implement different techniques for them to engage with the material. And so in order to get them to kind of realize that biology, science, is not so compartmentalized, that they can really apply it in different ways. And so I get them disgruntled at the beginning of the semester. They have to take my course as a requirement to graduate, and I get to say, wait, hold on. We get to do fun things, and this is how biology can be applicable to all of your different academic backgrounds. And so with the podcasting and their final presentations, they get to explore the different technologies and the different ways that they can inspire people to learn new material. And then with the Makerspace, I was able to discover, using the Makerspace last semester, I actually used it to make our Dragon Boat Regatta team t-shirts at the end of the semester and through the beginning of the summer. And I was like, wait, I need to get my students in here. So something that's somewhat dry is learning about the interior organelles of a cell, the different smaller parts that help a cell function. And so I talked to Walker, who's fantastic at running, and I was like, let's have them 3D print organelles. Let's have them come in, and then they'll be able to put their different pieces together to create a wholesome, complete cell. But then I added a layer to it in which I told my students to prepare this weekend and get their creativity juices flowing, because once they 3D print their organelle, I want them to create a dating profile. So that
Right?
so they can meet.
Do cells swipe right?
And that way they could take a picture and then create a profile and see where their organelle would it suit a plant cell, would it suit an animal cell, where would it find its place.
So science can be fun because
So fun.
Like when I think biology, I think we all probably have these flashbacks to high school and dissecting frogs. But this is not what you're doing in your class for the non-majors.
No, and then a lot of the pieces I like to pull in are applicable pieces to being a citizen in their societies, wherever they go, wherever their profession takes them. So I did dabble with teaching the diversity and social justice course on campus, which I absolutely love. I think it's so beneficial for students to have uncomfortable conversations comfortably, and then to have the mechanisms and strategies to navigate those difficult conversations. But I pull that into biology as well, because we as humans have to make difficult decisions about our own health and wellness, right? And there's so much information at our fingertips, which is both a blessing and a curse. Mm-hmm. So we try to have students become more scientifically literate. If they have to make choices about vaccination, if they have to make choices about what types of food to eat, what's available to us as consumers, because not everyone's watching out for us as they should. And also to be able to figure out whether or not they want to nurse their children. So there are different points of discussion that we can have in this non-majors course that I think people can take with them throughout their lives.
Well, the other thing is, and I talk about this, I try to tell this to students whenever possible, but so I've got this forum, this wonderful forum here to do it. It took me, I was not a good student. And it took me until I was at the back to school night for one of my kids that the head of the school said something that really resonated with me. And that was that you're not learning when you're going through your educational journey to learn just these factoids. Right. And he likened it to when you work out and you're trying to get a full body workout, you've got to press all the muscles to exhaustion. So you've got to really work them. And he said, what we're trying to do, and I'm seeing, this is what's so important for our students to understand, is that you want to get them using all different parts of their brain and really pushing it, right? And so that's why I just love the fact that you're so engaged with thinking of these different things and having them use different parts of their brain. Yeah. So, not surprisingly, you won an award. Tell us about that.
So I won an award, the faculty award. I can't even remember the technical title of it, but I pour a lot of myself into trying to create an inclusive climate here, and in trying to engage the community regardless of people's backgrounds or limitations. So I did a few events where, apart from teaching the social justice and diversity course, where I'm able to also gauge student feedback, I did something called Whispered Thanks. So reminding students that we're all human, right? And reminding students that their voices also matter. So go share your thanks, right? Share your thanks with the person who does your coffee every day, or share your thanks with the professor that actually inspired you to look into something a little further that helped you grow. So I did something like that. And I like to find different ways to have everyone's voice heard on campus, right? Because sometimes people think they're not worthy, or because they come from a different background or a different culture, that maybe they shouldn't speak up or they shouldn't engage in events. So other things I like to do is I stay in touch with my former students through my professor Instagram, and I've had them take positions or they've taken positions as RA, residence assistants. And they'll pull me in because maybe they're inspired. A lot of them have talked to me about the nutrition piece of our course, right? And that's something I take near and dear. It's close to my heart because I do think that their health and wellness really impacts their performance on multiple levels on campus. And so I've done some work in resident halls in the evenings where I talk to students in a fun manner to be like, hey, did you think about the energy drink can you're holding right now? And all my students I know, if they're watching, are probably cracking up because they're probably like, Professor, let it go. But I have a deep dislike for energy drinks and what they're doing to students. And students know they're bad, but I don't think they know how bad. And so I liken, for example, energy drinks to if I was in the middle of campus pouring oil or milk into a car's gas tank, I'm pretty sure someone would want to admit me somewhere to get some kind of treatment. But we don't think about that when we're seeing our colleagues and our peers drinking these things that are really detrimental to our functions.
If you follow Rozina on Instagram, you'll see a lot of cool things like that. One of the other cool things that has popped up on her Insta Reel recently was what you mentioned a couple of minutes ago. Back in June, you participated in the 8th annual Dragon Boat Regatta. Please tell us this story. What is this, and how have you been involved over the last couple of years?
So I accidentally fell into the position as captain.
You fell into the water, or you fell into the boat?
Not the water yet, but it's bound to happen. It is so, I'm waiting for it. But no, I fell into the position. We were asked last summer to pull a team together. And as we know, campus is a little quieter in the summer. And so someone asked, do you think that our department can do this? And Bruce, knowing my personality, I was like, of course we can. Yes, sign me up. And so I took it on, and it was so amazing to see different faculty members pull themselves in. We had graduate students come in. We've had faculty members, partners, and kids, and we kind of got this dragon boat team together. And it's not an easy task because you need 16 rowers, and then you need one drummer. And some of us may have known what we were getting into. I definitely did not. I had to call the Canal Dock because they host it every year. It's the New Haven Dragon Boat Regatta. And I was like, so what did we get into? What does the boat look like? We have to decorate a tent. We have a drummer, costume. And the first time we participated was in 2024. And we went in, we competed against 16 different teams, some of them from professional gyms. And we were a tenth of a second away, I think, from third place.
Wow.
But we had Charlie on the dock,
Charlie
cheering us on.
Yes.
So we won the Team Spirit Award. We are very spirited Chargers. So we dominated the DJ. And so we were dancing. We were having such a great time. So this year, there were many repeat rowers on the boat. And it was so great. The Dean of Students, members from Dean of Students came, members from Health Services came, and they cheered us on. And we were actually able to place third place. And we're only away from first place by 1 second.
Look out.
So I already prepped them. I was like, okay, next year,
Yep.
we're going for first. And then the Team Spirit Award wasn't even on the agenda. There was no Team Spirit Award this year. And so we're like, it's okay. We'll be okay. But the person handing out the award, who was on the board at the time, she's like, all right, well, there's this one team, and they don't stop dancing, and they just light up the dock. So we're going to have to reinstate it. And so we got the Team Spirit Award for the second time, and it felt so great to place and secure that award again.
So I don't even think I need to ask this question because I think you've done it already, but we like to give our faculty members and our guests on Charger 360 the opportunity to do a pitch for potential students who are thinking about coming to the university. It's that time of year. What's yours?
So I did have students actually talk to me this year because I knew them from my local area, and they were kind of on the fence. There's something special. There's something unspoken about the community here at U New Haven where there's just a vibe. I don't really know how to, it's not tangible, but there's this energy, this silent energy that kind of electrifies faculty and students on campus. Being able to have such great interactions and to have a sense of community here, like I've seen in no other campus that I've either attended or worked at. There is definitely special memories to be made here, and I think that students who have come and that do embrace it make lasting memories, and really it preps them for those dynamic relationships that you want to continue in your future. I know you get this, and I know you get, like, it just makes it more fun when you embody that electric energy wherever you work. I don't think that that's sustainable if it's not there for a lot of our personalities. So I hope that for them.
Perfect.
Yeah, great pitch to the potential students and their families watching and listening today. If you come to the University of New Haven, you will learn from an award-winning professor like Rozina Jaser. So we had a teaching award, we had the Team Spirit Award, and they even gave you a Captain's Award. Your teammates gave you a Captain's Award as well. So when I say award-winning Professor Rozina Jaser, who is the course coordinator for biology for non-majors. Rozina, thanks for being here on Charger 360.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
Time to start recruiting for the Dragon Boat.
I know. My shoulders are aching just thinking about this.
We could still use your spirit by the DJ, so
You got it.
there's a spot for everyone.
Awesome.
That'll wrap up this edition of Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. If you'd like to be on the show, it's simple. All you do is email Bruce or I, bbarber@newhaven.edu, jstewart@newhaven.edu. For Rozina and Bruce, I'm J-Dub. Thanks for watching Charger 360. We'll see you next time, everybody.